It's no surprise that as technology becomes cheaper to produce, the price to consumers has a trickle-down effect. Consumers are demanding more affordable and unsubsidized phones. Some manufacturers are fulfilling this need, like Meizu. They have produced several affordable offerings over the past few years, and this is one of Meizu's latest offerings. I'm Kevin the Tech Ninja, and this is the M1 Note. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room. This looks like a larger iPhone 5C by its color choices, icons, and even software. The M1 Note sports a unibody glossy polycarbonate design. The front is very simple. We have our earpiece and also the front-facing camera to the right of it. At the bottom, where we normally find capacitive buttons, there's a black bar there. But this black bar has a few tricks up its sleeve. More on this later. The middle of the bar, there's a circle which acts like your home button and notification light. The main color covers the back, and this also wraps around to the bezels. Up top, we'll find our power button and the headphone jack. On the right side is just the dual SIM card slot, and at the bottom, you'll find your speaker grill charging port. And on the remaining side, which is our left, we'll find the volume rocker. Going around to the glossy back, it's pretty plain, just the camera and dual tone flash right under it. Oh, and of course, the insignia designed by Meizu, made in China. With the back having a slight curve, it makes it easy to grip and comfortable to hold. The glossy plastic is not as slippery as it would seem from its appearance. The buttons share the same materials as the back of the device. In some cases, this makes finding the buttons a chore. Thankfully, with the M1 Note, the buttons are raised enough where they are easily located. These buttons provide a tactile feel to them, and the button press covers a lot of ground. The M1 Note brings you a full 1080p 5.5-inch Corning Gorilla Glass 3 display. Meizu brought a very bright and vivid display to the game. The text pops off the 401 ppi display. At times, the colors are a bit warm with a slight yellowish hue, but something your eyes will get used to quickly. The viewing angles are fantastic on the screen as well. You get a consistent picture, no matter which angle you're holding it at. I didn't see any backlight bleeding or dead pixels or any flaws at all. This is one of the better displays I've seen in a while. The screen cranked up gets pretty bright. It still has a little bit of glare, but the screen is still viewable even in the harshest sunlight. For me, 5.5 inches feels great in the hand. The screen is great for media consumption, gaming, and just about anything else. The bezels are a bit larger than what we've seen as of late, but it's not a huge distraction for me. A lot of manufacturers are providing color tuning applications that lets you select color profiles or make micro adjustments, but that's not the case here. You are stuck with the way it looks, and that's not really a bad thing. Inside the M1 Note, we'll find a very moderately spec'd device. The system chip is a MediaTek MT6752, which is an 8-core, 1.7 GHz 64-bit processor. Also for the graphics processor, it's the Mali T67 MP2. We can also find 2 GB of RAM and 16 GB of onboard storage. As for battery, it's a very large battery on board. You're looking at 3,140 milliamps. For me, it worked with my AT&T SIM card. I didn't have a great connection and data connections were very slow. I was able to do Hangouts and a little bit of light web browsing, but your miles may vary. Speed is the M1 Note's calling card. Navigating through the OS with the M1 Note is just an enjoyable experience. Once the device is unlocked, you are instantly at the home screen, waiting for your next move. Launching applications from the home screen is just as quick as the latest flagship phones I've used this year. Any normal task that you would do on your mobile device, the M1 Note can handle this with little issues. When it comes to gaming, the M1 Note can handle its own in most games. There are situations in some games where you notice a bit of slowdown in high action sequences. Games like Dead Trigger, GTA, and Riptide GP ran the same when I compare them to other devices nearly double the price. Quite frankly, I was impressed and blown away, especially for the device at this price range. I also ran a series of benchmarks as well. The scores were lower than last year's flagships, but real-world performance, it felt identical to these phones. Battery is middle of the road in terms of life. You can get a full day of battery with this device with decent use. I was unable to fully test it due to the signal I was getting with my AT&T SIM card. However, during my normal benchmarks, I was getting consistent results as to what others were reporting online. The speakers are located at the bottom of the device, flanking the USB port. The onboard speakers get plenty loud but lacks crispness. When it comes to speakerphone or anything that you hold your phone portrait, it sounds great. But when it comes to holding it landscape, that's when things become muffled. What I found myself doing is creating a reverb with my hand to bounce the sound back to my face when I was in a noisy area, which helped a bit. Meizu taking a page out of Apple's book was not just for design, but also when it came to software. The M1 Note as of this recording is running 4.4.4 KitKat with the skin on top by the name of Fleam. Fleam is an overhaul on Android. Starting with the lock screen, you can unlock the device with a simple tap or swipe up from the home button, or you can swipe up on the actual lock screen. Swiping to the right takes you to your camera, and swiping to the left takes you to quick applications. Once you're on your home screen, you notice there's not an app drawer. All your icons are spread out on your home screen. You're able to set up folders to help with organization, or you can just toss a third-party launcher on top of it just to get your app drawer back. Luckily, widgets are still available and behave accordingly. When going into your settings menu, you'll find that all the settings are still there, but they're in different locations with different icons. Being an enthusiast who can normally breeze through settings on most devices, Fleam made me work to get to the settings I was looking for. Fleam also adds a few other settings as well, but nothing really that truly affects the experience when using this phone. For a lot of consumers, the camera is one of the most important selling points. Meizu brought a decent sensor and robust software to the table. The M1 Note is touting a 13 megapixel camera. As the ladies say, it's not the size of the megapixel, but it's what you do with them. And Meizu does a lot with them. The images that come out of this device are pretty good. Not quite the quality of the S5 or G3, but it's still a very passable camera. What the Note lacks in image quality, they make up for it in software. The M1 Note has a manual camera mode built in. This will enable anyone who understands the basics of photography to take fantastic photos. You're not going to replace your DSLR or even your pocket camera, but these tools enable you to take better images. Manual mode isn't perfect. When making adjustments to shutter speed, you don't have a live view on how it's affecting the image. It may require some trial and error for some people. The auto mode lets you take superb shots outside or with good lighting, but once you're in lower light conditions, manual controls are pretty much required. The usual suspects for shooting modes are found within this camera software as well. You'll find your panorama, HDR, beauty mode, and even slow motion for video. The video quality is nothing amazing, and it's pretty standard. It autofocuses pretty fast, but you do lose your manual controls. The auto becomes tinny if you're just a few feet away from the camera as well, but it's a tremendous drop in image quality and light when using it. Yet another great offering from Meizu. They seem to find a way to squeeze out these great phones for a fraction of the price of the competition. The M1 Note was obviously inspired by the iPhone in several different ways, but it was executed properly. The phone feels to be built well and should be fantastic for anyone. When you factor in the price of the phone at $160, it's tough not to call this phone a true winner. And there you have it, guys. That was the review of the Meizu M1 Note. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and go down below, leave that comment, and subscribe to our channel for Sunday giveaway, for Jace's Q&A, and also great reviews from all of our reviewers. Way too many to name. As always, guys, my name is Kevin the Tech Ninja. This is Android Authority, your source for all things Android. Take care, guys. Oh no. Oh no.